Welcome to Freebirding Freedman's. Today I'm excited to introduce you to the co-owner of the studio where I recorded this chapter. This guest holds many roles, and you'll probably recognize her right away. Victoria Recaño is the Inside Edition National Correspondent. In our life, her role is much more personal. She introduced Joel and me, and while he's not here for this podcast, he co-hosts several with me. Here is our friend, Victoria Recaño.
Where are we? Explain where we are, first of all.
Well, we are in our newly opened podcast studio. I'm new to podcasting, and hopefully this is all something that we are embracing and will be highly successful with.
But you're not new to talking or being on air.
Talking is something that I do every day. I could talk to the wall, and in fact, I often do.
All right, so when you hear empty nest, I have you on as the co-owner of the studio and my longtime friend, but when you hear empty nest, that's not coming right around the corner for you yet.
No, I have quite a ways because my youngest just turned 8, and then her older brothers are 11 and 12. However, my oldest, who's 16 now, will soon be 17, and we're starting to look at colleges. So it has me sort of, I don't know. It has me feeling like with like sort of a pit in my stomach already. And I still have a bit of a ways to go though. And obviously there's 4 of them, so.
Are you hoping? So there's one coming right behind when someone goes to college. So are you hoping they go to school in California or?
Okay, that's a funny question. Actually, I was thinking that either I want them to go to school really close to home so that they can come visit all the time. Well, especially my oldest, because she's really close to her brothers and sister. Or I was suggesting she go to someplace far away, like London or someplace far outside of the state, like, for example, New York. So there were some ideas that I kind of threw at her. And it takes her an hour and a half to figure out what color jeans that she's going to wear, whether they're light or dark. So this is going to be a big decision.
You have a little bit of time, but is she going to be a junior next year? Or?
No, she's going to be a senior.
Oh, so you're in the thick of college shopping.
Right, we're in it.
Have you visited colleges?
Yes, we went to USC, and we also went to Chapman, and they both have a very crazy price tag to them. So
we know price tags.
So that has thrown us for a bit of a loop, especially considering there's still one after the other.
Okay, so now I want you to describe a typical Saturday for you compared to going forward in 10 years, how you could imagine it, you and your husband, Tom.
Well, that's a great question. Soccer, which is not my favorite thing.
Starting at like what time?
And well, it just depends because Tom coaches, and so he tends to have to get there really early. It can start as early as 7 a.m. and go all the way until 7 p.m. or even 8 p.m. at night. My oldest is playing varsity soccer for high school, also on a club team. The boys also play AYSO, so it's pretty much like back to back. And as I mentioned, it's not really my favorite. So it sometimes is a very big challenge for me to force myself to go to all the games.
How many games is that potentially in one Saturday? More than the number of kids you have? Like more than 4?
It could be at least, it could be a minimum of 2, but sometimes 4 or 5. It's a lot. And unfortunately, soccer is a kind of a long sport.
Okay, so at least the weather's good now.
So I won't be missing that so much, but maybe I will because I have to tell you, I feel so nostalgic about already thinking that Emmy's going to be gone, even though she closes her door to her room and doesn't want anyone inside and doesn't want me in there. Actually, she doesn't really want anyone entering her room, but that's a whole nother story. It's good and bad, I guess, because she doesn't even want her friends in there. She's like, I don't like people hanging in my room.
But what about like an entire week or month of you not seeing her?
Yeah,
2 months.
That's like a rough thought. And now it's so weird. Sometimes I know this sounds really bizarre, but even my youngest, who's 8, it makes me teary-eyed when I see her and think she's the last one.
Oh,
You know I
so
want 5, but my husband would kill me. I don't think that's in the cards. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, so yesterday, my husband she got a fish for Christmas. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it was Christmas she got the fish. So pretty new. And anyway, the fish died.
Oh no.
And
We've had that happen.
Yeah. Well, it was strange because he put it in a box and I snapped because I'm like, is that my earring box that you stuck that in? And he's like, well, there were no earrings in it. And I was like, seriously? So now she's bringing it to school. So
The deceased fish?
The deceased fish. So we had a whole conversation about that. But, it's fun because at least I still get that young perspective.
That young experience,
I don't think my oldest she doesn't care. Although she has a fish in her room and no one is to like walk in there and look at it or even approach the fish.
It's off limits.
By the way, these are like goldfish. These aren't saltwater fish. They're not fancy schmancy. Yeah.
Okay, so go forward 10 years. It's just you and Tom. You wake up on a Saturday. It's not parents' weekend. It's not a football weekend. You don't have an alarm. The house is silent.
What do we do?
What do you do?
Well, some other things probably that too are also possibly not my favorite. He likes to garden. So he's often outside. He tries to avoid speaking to me because he knows I like to talk a lot. And he would prefer to spend some quiet time by himself. So that probably won't change that much. He also likes to make breakfast in the morning. And since I don't eat breakfast, he enjoys that time also by himself. So some of those things won't change. And then he likes to leave things out for me to take care of, which I likely will do as well. However, the kid thing is he's going to have to come up with more creative ways to run away from me because he's not going to have soccer as an excuse. So, because he's not going to be able to say, oh, I got a coach. But he'll come up with something else, I'm sure. He likes to play tennis. So I'm sure he'll schedule lots of tennis matches in the morning.
And you've been good about keeping your friendships and your career, and you're not completely immersed in your children where you have no professional life, which I think is important.
True.
So talk a little bit about that. How will that keep you busy?
So, I mean, it's been really tough because like juggling between, like, for example, today, I raced to school, dropped the kids off. I made them get up extra early.
Thank you.
Because just for you, because I didn't want to be late. And I raced to school, dropped them off, and they had a big presentation about traveling through the ancient world today. And my second, Sebastian, had to dress up as one of the emperors of Rome. And so
little added morning stress.
Yeah, so that was like a whole thing. And yesterday when my husband dropped them off, they were 15 minutes late. And I don't like being late. And so that was a whole different story. There's a lot of arguing and yelling, et cetera. And it was Balthazar's birthday, and we all forgot to say happy birthday to him. So it was one of those like parenthood moments.
Oh, no.
So that was kind of like, oh. But it's okay. I made it up to him. I brought him cupcakes. And then I did it. It was okay. And then today, right before I came here, I actually made his speech as the Roman emperor.
Oh, perfect.
So it was great.
So you got to see him present.
So I I dropped him off, ran home, got prepped to talk to you. And then I have another shoot for CBS after this. So then I'll race back towards their school, pick up my youngest, bring her home. So it's a whole thing. It's a big triangle. It's a lot of driving. That is one thing I will say I will not miss. And I'm a little frustrated with my oldest because she doesn't have a driver's license yet. But that's kind of a thing.
Once she gets it.
Yeah, I guess
And
so.
each child gets it, you'll slowly get phased out of chauffeur mode.
Yeah, and that'll be a very welcoming experience. Chauffeur mode. Well, you don't have chauffeur. Well,
No, I don't have chauffeur mode
But you
anymore.
still do a lot of chauffeuring.
I do some chauffeuring, but not nearly. I mean, I lived most of my life in the car. I was sitting in the car under blankets when we lived in Seattle, waiting for kids to finish things, and
yeah. It's never over. I'll just say that. Even
well, sometimes we're like designated drivers now, I guess, but not chauffeurs as much.
Interesting, because I was hoping to make my oldest my designated driver, but that's something different, I suppose.
All right, so just keeping track of time here, I feel like we should probably wrap it up so you can get to your next shoot. So,
all right, I love it. I love talking, though.
I know you
As
do.
you know.
Yes, and thank you for opening your studio and inviting us to be here and
I have
introducing me to my husband. And
oh, yeah, there's a whole checklist. But wait, I have a question for you.
wait, I'm supposed to be asking the question.
I know, but since you're the expert in empty nesting.
I'm not the expert in empty nesting.
Well, soon
I'm trying to learn more.
Okay, so soon to be the expert, what was the biggest surprise for you?
Well, when Braden first went away to college, like walking by his bedroom door, which we had to walk by to get to a lot of things, it just made my heart skip a beat. It was like, how long until he comes back into that room? When Ella left for college, she started in Paris. When we dropped her off, I know that's what everybody says, right? It sounds so exciting. But when we dropped her off, she didn't feel well. I guess I'm looking at my husband instead of the camera, but she didn't feel well. Joel was suggesting maybe I stay abroad. I thought she needed to launch. When we got on that plane and left, I'm not sure that and I'm doing it right now, I'm not sure that I breathed deeply until I saw her in November. So when they're really far away and when it's your youngest, I think that is the hardest. So now I feel like I'm starting this podcast. I'm taking classes at UCSD. I'm back to work. I've kind of gotten through the shock stage. I still don't like it when they leave. And now our oldest is actually living with us again because he's working in San Diego. So you realize like they go, they come back, but I think just realizing you have to fill your time, which I think you're already really good at with your keeping your career active all this time, because it's just, one of my friends said it's like you're fired. It's like you're fired, your responsibilities change so much, and it's hard to explain. It just, those empty rooms that you just keep. When our daughter leaves for college now, sometimes I don't even look at her room for like a month, and then I'm like, oh, I better go in there and clean it. She's coming home. It's just, it's sad when they're, even if they kind of keep to themselves, as they get older, they tend to. When you don't see them for months at a time, it's so hard.
But on the flip side of it, so like, you've spent a lot of time with your kids, and I think now like all I do is race around. So when you say like you get teary-eyed, I get teary-eyed because I think to myself, I'm never there enough, and I haven't been there enough.
I don't think anyone feels like they're there enough once they leave. So kind of my advice to you would be like take in every moment. Even when you're driving them, those are some of your best times to talk to your kids. You probably already know that. You're still with them, even if you're going somewhere.
But the hard part is like I'm always on the phone. And I recognize that I'm like mentally like take note that, okay, I'm always on the phone. I'm not giving them enough time. But it's hard because you can't really juggle all of it.
But you could put your phone in another room for 30 minutes. And whoever's calling you isn't going to be as important as the audience right in front of you.
It is hard, though. So, I mean,
all right, I don't know how we wrap this up. That's going to be the hardest part because we could just keep talking.
Could talk forever. I know,
and so could you. But you have places to be and
I do, but also the whole idea of your kids launching and then somehow ending up back at base camp. That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. Yeah, so it's like kind of a evolving process that we're learning. And then how long do they stay until then they move to another place? And, one whole topic, which we can get into another time or potentially with future guests, is just how do they keep the house once they've gone away to college and they're used to living in like a fraternity house or nobody checking their apartment and then they're back in your house. But that's way down the line for you. So you don't really have to worry about that yet.
Oh my gosh. All this advice I need. Anyway, thank you very much, Lynn.
Thanks for joining us on our first episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Freedman Multimedia. Because when the nest empties, you suddenly have time for new hobbies like photography, podcasting, and CFO consulting. Not me, but Joel. From Freedman photos to financial fixes, we keep your wings headed in the right direction. Thank you so much for joining us for Freebirding Freedmans.